Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Maureen.
I'm Shelby.
I'm Eve.
And Jeanette.
I'm Amanda.
And tonight we are breaking down our top 10 favorite characters for the One Chicago franchise. And we mean all of the One Chicago franchise. We aren't just going show by show on our top 10s. So for everyone else who is completely caught up, this was a very, very difficult task. For those
And I resent you for making me do this.
It was a very, very mean assignment, and I'm very
See, now our goal was we didn't want to have a show. We each had 30 top 10s. And then we take 17 hours. Same issue as last week's episode. We didn't want to take so long to do an episode. So we've managed to narrow down our top 10 list. But most of us have honorable mentions in addition to the top 10. So,
and I mean, we're going to talk about, we're not going to talk about the same person twice.
Yes.
So
exactly. And some of us might have very different lists. So you might get all the characters in there anyway. We might have 50 different lists, 5 different lists, 50 different names is what I meant. So we are going to start with number 10, which is, now this is not to say that they are a character we don't like.
No.
It's just of our favorites. It's the lowest favorite of 10 that we could possibly narrow it down to. And again, this is very hard because most of them are all of our favorites. So I will start. Hard. My number 10 I have is Will Halstead. So that is my one med character.
He's much higher on my list, but
he's my number 5.
I'm glad that he made it to your list as the one med because he's the one that deserves. He's my number 3. So
Shelby and Amanda, do you have him in your list? Look, Amanda, Shelby, do not.
Your list are
done
wrong.
with you all. No.
Not even in my honorable mentions. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's not in mine either.
I'm sorry. He annoys me so much. Just like
really?
Natalie annoys me too.
I'm
They
really
annoy me.
I don't remember.
They need to get their stuff together is what they need to do.
Over here trying to remember all the reasons I love Amanda, so I don't get
exactly.
mad.
Okay, I'm going to start off by saying Will has redeemed himself for me. I hated his guts. Okay, from the start. Oh, I did. I hated him.
I never did.
He is like probably out of all the characters, he's probably number 30.
I'm like fuming over here over a fictional character. It's okay. I have enough love for Will to go around, so it's fine.
I will say I was unsure of Will at first because he seemed very unreliable. He seemed like when we first see him on PD, when he like got in that fight, I was like, something sketchy there.
The same.
But the more I saw him, the more they like introduced his character onto Med and onto more in PD. The more you saw that he wasn't this unreliable, crazy, violent person. He was a good guy who genuinely cares about people. And I like that he's like Jay's opposite, where he's got the sarcastic humor. And I like that. If you have sarcastic humor, you can pretty much bet you're going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah. And I mean, he's impulsive. Yes. I mean, even once you start med, like you'll still see he's always impulsive. But I feel like his decisions are always like with the best intentions. Like, I mean, he cares for his patients and he's like,
He thinks with his heart, not his head. And I feel like that's why you like him, because you're the same way. Somewhat.
His impulsivity is always driven by his beliefs. So if he believes that something is the right thing, then he will put 100% of himself into it. And I do admit that sometimes it does come off very, very pushy.
It does.
But he does believe in it so much. I mean, he doesn't really seem to know any other way.
And I think he's gotten better as he's grown as like a person and a doctor. As the show's gone on, he's gotten better about not acting on those impulses and not being so pushy. But I mean, that's just who he is. I love that about him.
See, I don't have Jay on my list either. I just don't really like the Halsteads. Like, they're just, I don't know. I don't hate Will. I really don't. But there's a lot of characters I would choose over Will.
There's only 2 that I would choose over Will. So,
I mean, I got 5. I mean, from Med on my list total, but yeah, and it was hard for me to come up with 5.
I'm so interested to hear who in the world, if you took 5 from Ned and he didn't make it. But we'll wait. We'll get to that. I can't even imagine.
Right. Shelby, who was your number 10?
I had Stella.
She's not on my list.
I'm obsessed with Stella. I love her.
And she's 10.
She's my number 7. I am in love with her. She is awesome.
I'm so disappointed in you right now. I'm like Will Halstead, Jeanette, disappointed right now.
I struggled with her being number 10. Like, I moved her around a couple different times, but she had to be on there because I adore her.
And I will say that I'm just on season 7 of Fire, so we know I'm not fully caught up there. I do like her a lot better. So I think maybe if I had finished Fire, she might have made it to my list because I'm slowly liking her more and more each episode.
She's amazing, and she's such a good role model to young girls, and I can't say enough about her. I love her.
Yeah,
apparently not enough.
Where is she on your list?
1.
Oh, you really killed Amanda there, Shelby.
You know what? That's what Amanda
gets. That's what Amanda gets.
Yeah, she's number 7 on my list.
Okay.
I was very, very, very angry with her this most recent season, but I still love her. I just need her to do better and be nicer to Severide.
Amanda doesn't need her to do better. Amanda likes her exactly as she is.
I told you guys, I really think that my list is going to ruin friendships here because
well, it can't get any worse because you already told me you bumped one person, and now that I know Will's not on there either, I'm not sure that
it could get a little worse. It could get a little worse.
It can't actually consider what she said.
Adam's not on her list.
That's what I'm saying. She already bumped him, and Will was never on it, so it can't get any worse. It's fine.
Amanda, why is Stella your number 1?
Because she's completely, I was going to cuss. She's completely amazing. Like she's driven. She's smart. She's an incredible role model. I feel like Shelby kind of gave all the reasons of why she's so amazing. So I don't know why she's number 10. I mean, she ropes in Kelly, which is a full-time job as it is.
I will say, like, she's the reason, because I'm not a Severide fan either, which I know upsets everybody. Like, he's not on my list, but like her with him makes me like him. So, I mean, Stella's a good character. Like I said, if I had finished Fire, I think she would be on my list because I've only known her for a couple seasons now. So,
What about you, Eve? How do you feel about her since she's your number 7?
I love her. Every time she has something that she wants to do, she goes all in. Like, she doesn't even think about it. She doesn't give herself time to think it over. She just, I want to do this Girls on Fire program. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to do it. How do I do it?
So she was low on your list because you were mad at her this past season.
I was upset with her.
She messes up one time,
but I forgave her by the end. So
exactly.
It's okay.
So Shelby, if you love her, why is she number 10 for you?
Listen, I struggled. I am embarrassed about how many times I changed this stupid list around. Like, eventually I just had to leave it go, and it is what it is. Like,
I'm confident with my list.
I am not at all, and I am disappointed in myself because I can't do this.
So Shelby's is more or less just 10 names that she loves equally.
Yes, exactly.
That's how my bottom 5 are. Yeah. Exactly. They're just like the other 5 on my list.
That's what I did. I was like, these are the 10 I love the most. I'll just put them in a random order and hope for the best.
So your random order number 10, Eve, is what?
My random order number 10 is from PD, and it's Trudy.
Oh, she 10.
She's 9 on my list.
She's not even on mine.
She's on my honorable mentions.
Yeah, she's on my honorable mentions, but not on my top 10.
I
love Trudy. I had to put her on my list.
I love her. I was not sure about her at first. At first,
me
came
either.
Like a hard ass, and then that was it to her. But she has a real soft spot for Kim, and I guess kind of
everybody
Adam
really.
too.
Yeah,
but
and
I think
Adam,
more so Kim. I think
Kim, and I think Adam kind of by association.
Yeah,
but you know, she has a big heart. I love love seeing her with kids. Like when kids come into the station and have to hang out for a while, I love seeing her interact with the kids.
She's my number 3.
Is she your 3? Yeah.
I'm kind of mad that I didn't have her on, but
We are too, Shelby.
I just watched the episode where that little boy that Roman was going to donate marrow to passed away, and he was at the station and like doing the cop for a day thing.
Yeah.
And she was like amazing towards him.
Yeah.
And then the whole Burgess trying to get her ring size thing was hilarious too.
Her like picking on Kim is probably my favorite thing. Like it makes me laugh so hard because we know she loves Kim, so it's all in good fun. It's really funny. I love it.
I love that episode where she was unbelievably upbeat and nice. And I think, was she partners with Kevin at the time, or was it Roman? I don't remember who she was partners with.
I don't remember.
But
I think it was Kevin.
And they were like, okay, that's weird. And she was so hyper happy and nice. And then they thought that it was, the guy who was giving her someone complained. So Kim said something really nice. And it was just such, Trudy could get her name in the paper with nice things about her.
Yeah.
I remember that episode. I was like, I'm really scared right now. Why is she being so nice? I sent that in the group chat. And then no one responded. And I was really upset. I was like, someone tell me it's going to be okay because I'm really, really scared.
And then when Kim lost her, when Michaela was missing, and Adam and Kim were freaking out, and Trudy showed up and just grabbed Kim next to her and just held her hand. Like, she is a hard ass, but she's so soft at the same time.
Yeah.
She just has a hard exterior, but she loves so big, and she is dedicated to that whole oh my gosh, intelligence unit. I couldn't think of the word intelligence.
I love her Mouch too.
I was gonna say her on Fire is a totally different Trudy. She's so kind and loving, and like, because I remember like I knew who Mouch was, and then I watched PD and I knew Trudy was, and I was thinking, how is this gonna be a couple? Because it doesn't feel like it works, but it totally does. I mean, they're like the best.
They are.
I love those two together.
I do too.
All right, so Jeanette, who's your number 10?
Mine, and this one was hard to like put number 10, like I said, but there was just so many other ones that I was like, okay, I'm trying to not just pick people that I think are cute, which is, we know like what I like to do.
That's what most of your list is.
I know. Okay. So I tried to use like, okay, what do I love about their personality too? So it's Casey, because I still love him, but I do like other Fire characters better. And so I was going to put him there.
Of course, Matt is Eve's number 2.
Yes.
I have to tell you, I was so confused when they called him both Matt and Casey in the same episode. Wait, what?
It gets so confusing with all their last names and their first names.
Well, it's because he has a first name for a first and a last name.
Well, I think Brett always confused me too, because I for the longest time I thought her first name was Brett.
I did that with
No, it's not.
No, it's
with,
Sylvie. Brett is her last name. I know.
I did that with Crockett on Med.
Yes.
Because his name's Crockett Marcel.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Crockett was his last name.
No,
that's what I thought too. And then I got really confused. I had to go to IMDb to figure it out.
For the longest time, I thought his first name was Marcel and his last name was Crockett. They just called him Crockett all the time.
I absolutely thought his last name was Crockett.
No, it's Crockett Marcel.
All right. Yeah. So Casey did not make it to my list. He's an honorable mention for me, though.
Okay.
He's not on mine either.
He's not on my list at all.
Wow.
Wow.
I have to fire everybody now. These are my groups.
Matt Casey's a little bit like Matt Saracen. So I can see why you.
That's why Eve likes him so much.
Yeah.
He gives me the same kind of innocent.
He has
vibes.
more self-respect than Matt Saracen, though.
But see, now you're really good at
innocence.
Everybody's gonna really upset Eve now here if we start talking about Saracen.
But no, like, Matt Saracen is a lovely boy.
I love him,
but
I like Matt Saracen.
He doesn't have any self-confidence.
That's true.
He doesn't think enough of himself.
Yeah.
That's why he ends up in the messes he's in. Casey doesn't have that problem. Casey knows his worth.
No. Yeah.
True.
So I do really like him though, but they're just other characters on Fire that I've liked more so far.
Same.
But I did watching him with Hank though. Was that woo? When he just
Yeah.
showed up at his doorstep and punched him in the face, that takes a strong person to punch Hank Voight in the face in his own home.
Well, Hank deserved it though. Like that was,
I know he did.
Whoa.
Okay, I wasn't on the other day. Can you guys see why I didn't like Hank now?
Absolutely.
Like why I didn't want to watch PD?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys judge me hard, but like now that you've seen him on fire, like
but
he's
do you
terrible.
see why we judged you? Because him on PD is a totally different thing. Like we were like, what do you mean? Hank is amazing.
Yeah.
He's terrible.
I agree.
It took me a long time. I watched, like I said earlier, I watched Fire first years ago. I started kind of really getting more into Fire. So then I switched over and I started watching PD. And I don't know why I never even tried Med. I never tried Med, but I couldn't get through PD because I was so invested in Fire. My brain could not flip over and like
I get that.
Void. And so I stopped watching PD because I couldn't see it. Now the second time I went around and I watched it, I love Hank Voight.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched PD first because I would have really struggled to see Hank like that and then him go to be the main character.
Yeah.
And see, I think that's what my issue was too, because I liked Fire a lot and I thought, okay, well, they're in the same universe, I'll try PD. And then I couldn't get past the whole Hank thing. But now I think that enough time has passed that it's not like as fresh in my head anymore either. But I mean, I'm glad that you guys made me give it a chance because I mean, I do love him now, but Fire like ruined him for me completely.
Well, I think the way Casey handles him is it gives you a different level of respect for Casey. Because Casey's we see Antonio do it a little bit, but for the most part, Casey is the only one we see take that strong of a stance against Hank and refuse in absolute terms to back down, and then also finds a way to get him back, but do it right.
Yeah.
And Casey's the only one I've seen do that. So why is he number 10 for you, Jeanette?
I mean, just because I like others more. But I mean, I do love him. And I mean, I know this goes against my normal type, but he's like the good guy. And like it's all that I've seen through season 7, he stays the good guy. He's not one of these that has any sort of questionable morals where he makes, he does something that you get upset about. I've not been mad at him one time. For me, that makes him a little more boring, which is probably why he's 10 out of my top 10.
Yeah, I see that.
And he's Eve's number 2.
He is, yes.
She likes the good boys, so it makes sense that he's higher for her.
The thing with Casey is exactly what Maureen was saying, how he was with Hank, how he didn't back down. He's like that with everyone that is basically being a jerk. I remember he screamed at, it was, what's his name from Teen Wolf? Scott's dad from Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
It was, that jerk of a temporary chief.
Yeah.
And Casey just got so fed up with him. He slammed the truck door and said, "Leave my guys alone."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. Yep. Listen to him. He means business.
Yeah. He's fiercely protective of like his team and like and Gabby and everyone that he cares for. Like, I mean, he's definitely somebody you want on his side for sure.
Even though he's only an honorable mention for me, I will say that I already don't like Gabby because I know what happens with them.
Oh, Gabby.
Oh, but
Gabby's already irritating me because of how she's like fawning over him and how when he was still with Haley, she was still trying to, flirt with him and then to know what she does in the end.
She did not.
But they play it out really well. Like they don't. Like I never hated Gabby, and I still don't hate Gabby.
I don't hate her, but I don't like her very much.
I liked her up until she ditched Matt, and that's why she make my list.
I felt like it was time though. Like I was okay with her leaving and him moving on. I really was because it's not that I didn't like Gabby.
Yeah.
It was just it seemed like she didn't want to be there anymore.
I think I will be okay once I see him move on. Because like right now, like I still don't hate her though, because I liked her a lot. Like she's not on my list only because like that upset me, I guess. But
yeah, I just like who comes after Gabby. So
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm fine with Gabby moving on.
Who's your number 10?
Ooh, my number 10 is Maggie from Med.
Okay.
Ooh.
She's not on my list, but I love Maggie. I mean,
I love Maggie.
She was 8 for me.
Is she? She's so strong, and want to say I love that she went out and found her daughter, but I liked seeing that storyline from her. And I don't know how you explain how I like her. She's one of those characters that really just stands out to me. Yeah. She's been there from day one. Like, we're familiar with her. She always has her friends and coworkers' backs. Like, she's going to do whatever she can for you. Yeah. I mean, she's so strong and driven.
Yeah, she's awesome. And I loved that she was Team Manstead too, while like they were together. I was like, okay, thank you, Maggie. Like,
she was.
But no, she's a good friend. Like, I like her relationship. I loved her friendship with Natalie. I love her friendship with Sharon. I love her friendship with Will. I know she's had her cancer storyline and her daughter storyline, but other than that, I wish she's had more, because then I think she might be on my list, because I like her, but a lot of times she's sort of in the background as like a side character, other than those two major storylines, I think.
I agree, but I feel like I love her enough. When I think of Med, she's actually the second person I think about when I think about Med.
Yeah. I think if I'd put any more Med, like, I toyed with her, like, even with my honorable mentions, like, I almost put her in over another person, and it's someone you guys won't agree with, but still one of my honorable mentions that I almost put Maggie in place of this person.
Yeah.
Eve, was she on your list at all?
She was on my honorable mentions. And I think what I love about Maggie is she just seems like the mom of the show. She's just such a mom to everyone. I don't really know how to explain it, but I do agree with what Jeanette said. I wish she'd been given some more, meat to her.
Yeah. And maybe she will, because we've got this season ending with her like introducing Vanessa to her birth father. So maybe we will see something from Maggie on that storyline.
I hope so. She deserves a good storyline, because she's just been a side character for far too long.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Shelby, you have her on 8 because you equally love her to the rest of your list.
Yeah, I like her because she's solid. I love her and Sharon's relationship. They're like besties.
Yeah.
I love how she's very supportive of everybody in the ER. Like, you can always count on her. She's one of the only ones that hasn't made me mad at all so far.
Never seen that.
It's hard to have.
Well, especially with the Med characters, and I don't know if it's because like of different treatment plans and different things, almost all of them will like piss you off really bad from time to time. So
I thought you were gonna say especially with Shelby. That's hard to do.
No, because I think even Will has made me mad like once, I think. But like, I don't know. I feel like
she looked in his eyes and it was all okay.
I looked at that luscious red hair that I just want to run my fingers through. And I was like, it's okay. We're good.
Excuse me while I vomit.
Whatever.
I don't care. In that same vein, my number 9 is Jj Halstead.
See, Jay is not on my list.
Will's brother.
Jay did not even make my honorable mentions.
Nope.
Mine either.
Maureen, this is all you.
I'm all right. See, every time my husband sees him on the screen, my husband says, "When is that guy gonna die?" Like, dude, why? I don't know. There's something about his face. I don't like that guy. Like,
I don't dislike Jay though. I really don't. I think he's fine.
He makes me mad a lot, but what I like about him, honestly, he's a PD character, and PD is my favorite.
I think he's funny, and I think
not intentionally. I don't think he is.
I think it's more Jesse Lee Sofer is funny, and so it comes through even when it's not intentional.
Honestly, I think that's what a lot of my like for Jay comes from. Is I like the actor.
Yeah,
and I think he's a good-looking guy.
He's so
really
pretty.
Good-looking guy.
But
for
his
character, like especially in the 9th season of PD, I wanted to punch him in the face almost repeatedly. But I still had 8 years where I didn't dislike him. I didn't like how he acted like he was better than everybody. Like I feel like Haley brought him down to her level a little bit.
I disagree with that.
Upset me. But I did I like how he always wants to do the right thing. And even that conversation he had with Hank when he talked about Hank, like I was upset at how I just because Hank is my guy, so I get upset when people even when he deserves it, I still don't like it. But he was right when he said Kevin and I found Kim and we did it the right way. And so he does his job incredibly well.
Yeah.
And he always does it the right way.
And I appreciate that about him, because I think so many, I mean, obviously Hank is shady. And I think, you know, Adam can easily be swayed to shady when he needs to be.
They all can.
I mean, I think
except
Jay and Antonio.
When it involves Haley.
I think Antonio was one too that most of the time was on the side of good.
Most of the time.
I think the only time that Antonio and Jay are swayed to do wrong is when it's for Jay, it's Haley. For Antonio it was his kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Well, and I mean, Jay, like, I love how, and I mean, here he's not on my list or honorable mentions, but I will say, I love how protective he is of people he loves. He was like that with Aaron. He was like that with Haley. He was like that with Will when Benson was questioning Will. That was probably my favorite Jay moment ever. The way he just took charge. Well, I mean, it wasn't even about Will, like, necessarily. It was more about that, like, he was like, hold on. And I mean, he stood up to all of them because it's his brother and that's what you should do. And so he's loyal, and I love that about him.
Yeah. What I don't like is that when he's mad about something, he'll oftentimes won't say anything. Like with Hank, when he was mad at Hank, he didn't say anything. And he constantly went against Hank's ruling and Hank's order in the field, which is super dangerous. You can't be petty and pouty when you're in the field.
Yeah.
But that was because he didn't trust that Hank could do right. But even then, he needs to be better at voicing it. That's why he's number 9 for me and not higher on the list, because he doesn't voice when he has an issue right away. He punishes you almost instead.
You all will see, I will defend every single PD character, even if they're not on my list here. Yeah. I will defend every single one of them because I love them all. I could have made a whole list.
Well, Shelby, what's your number 9?
Crockett.
Okay.
He's an honorable mention for me. I like him.
I do like Crockett, actually.
So the reason I like Crockett is because he made Natalie more likable to me. And his voice.
His voice is one of my favorite things about him.
I love his accent. That is just wonderful.
He's actually number 1 on my honorable mentions. Like,
I thought you said your list. I was like, what?
Oh, no.
That's Stella.
Crockett can read me bedtime stories. I love Crockett.
Yes.
That sounded really creepy, like more creepy than what it should have, but
it's fine. I'm here for it. No, see, I agree with his voice. I love it. I don't agree with the other part, but that's because we know I wanted Will and Natalie together. So it took me a long time to actually like Crockett, because I was like, no, who is this guy? Get out of here. Like, they are supposed to have a happily ever after.
It took me a minute too, because remember, I thought he was shady at first.
Oh, same.
But I love him now.
I do too.
And like the way that he is with kids in the ER, he's amazing. He's great with his patients. The only time that he really like made me mad was when that lady was getting her surgery done and he made the wrong call because like she put him on like her living will or whatever it was. I don't really understand all that, but do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, with Dr. Blake.
Yeah.
I mean, he thought he was making the right, but then again, I mean, I think he's another one that is like Will in the fact that he thinks with his heart and not his head either. And that was why, because he cares about her. And so he made a decision that not necessarily what she would want, but like what he wanted because he cared for her. So, I mean, I can't fault him for that.
I wish I put him on my list. He's the one I forgot, apparently.
Wow, Eve. Wow.
I couldn't forget him.
How do you forget that?
Even I didn't forget him. All right, what's your number 9 then, Eve?
My number 9 is probably further up on Shelby's list. It's Severide.
3.
Yeah, I knew it.
He's my number 4.
I'm a little surprised he's your number 3. He's not on my list anywhere.
Me neither.
I'm not a Severide fan right now.
Me neither. I mean, you know what? I am sometimes.
You know what?
Sometimes.
I like him in the field.
Everybody here loves character development and growth.
I do.
And Severide has had one of the best redemptions and character growth in all 3 of these shows.
I tell you, probably the reason he gets on my nerves the most is the way he fights with Matt. And it's because I like Matt so much. And I'm like, stop it.
But
Like,
him and Matt love each other. Him and Matt love each other so much.
The two of them get to a point where they're really good with each other.
Yeah.
They're best friends.
Like I said, he's getting better for me where I'm at. And I give Stella credit for that because I really think she's changing him. And like I've said, I think I've said this before, like Happy Severide is wonderful. And I love him. And he's pretty. I mean, obviously no one can deny that he's like pretty because he's pretty. But like Happy Severide, great. Grumpy Severide, I can't stand him.
I love Grumpy Severide.
So I think that's why I can't, like, it goes back and forth. It's like such a big swing for me each time. Like if he's like sad or grumpy, I'm just like, it's not like a sad like you want to go hug him. It's a sad like you want to smack him in the back of the head and say, get over it, please.
I just think that's because you don't like Mason Lockwood. I think you have some kind of like
maybe
hold on him.
Because I feel the same way that Jeanette does about Severide.
No,
and I kind of like Mason Lockwood.
Well, I was gonna say I don't hate Mason Lockwood. Like, I mean, he's not a favorite, but I like him better than I do Severide.
What?
We're talking about Vampire Diaries.
Vampire Diaries. Severide was on Vampire Diaries.
Oh, I was really confused. I was like, that's not the actor's name.
So the beef between him and Matt though started off with the whole Darden fire when he passed away. So like I can kind of see why they have that beef
over and over again.
It does, but it's a power struggle type of thing, I think.
Right, but it's not.
It does get better.
But it's not a power struggle on Matt's side. Like Matt doesn't do that.
I don't know. I can defend
I know,
him
it's fine. That's your guy.
But I love Severide. I really, really do. And
I'm kind of surprised he's number 3 for you, actually.
It's because of the character development.
But I'm surprised he's not 1 for you.
No, number 1.
No.
Yeah.
I'll wait. But I thought for sure he was gonna be your number 1.
He was number 2, but then I bumped him down for somebody else.
Oh,
interesting.
So Eve, why is he number 9 for you?
When I first started watching, my first impression of him was that he was the jerk of the show. And I was like, I'm not going to like this guy. I don't get why Shelby likes this guy, because Shelby and I are usually on the same page with characters. So I was like, why does she like him? What is going on? But his character development is pretty awesome. I mean, I agree that Stella really does help keep him in check to a point. So does Casey.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think that's part of the reason why I was upset with Stella for a little bit, because Casey was also gone. I was like, his 2 people are gone and he's lonely. And you know what happens with Severide when he's all by himself? He's going to go to Vegas and marry some random girl.
I can say though, during that, I was really proud of him for not hoeing around.
I know.
Yeah, he's
a good boy.
Sorry, Maureen.
No, that's fine. Because I know for a fact there's a lot worse you could have said right there.
You're learning.
He stayed pretty faithful to Stella that whole time, even though he was really angry with her.
Yeah.
Too. And still, he was just like, no.
Stella is his kryptonite. I'm telling you.
Stella is everyone's kryptonite. Like nobody can say no to her.
I can't.
Also, Taylor Kinney's from Lancaster, which is close to where I live.
Oh, so that's
there you go.
Number 3.
Intimate connection.
I would do anything to meet that man.
Noted. Taylor, you hear that?
Anything. Listen to her.
Anything.
There are no boundaries. Ooh, that should scare you a little bit.
I would throw it all away.
Just not even to be with him, just to meet him.
Yes. See his little smile.
He's behind Maureen's head right now.
I was looking for him. Oh, he's on the other side.
Other way. There you go.
Oh, there he is.
I'm not gonna say
there's my guy.
He's so
I just bit my finger when I looked at him.
Moving on very quickly, Jeanette, who's your number 9?
It's Trudy. So we've already talked about
that's
her.
right. Okay. Amanda, who's your number 9?
Otis.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, he was 5 for me.
What is he on my list? He is.
Hey, I hated putting him 9.
Yeah.
He's
this is where my list already gets hard.
He makes me laugh a lot.
I'm not made it. He is probably him and one other person on my list. Those are my favorite fire characters. And I know what's coming. I'm on the season that it's going to happen. And I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm sorry.
Probably why I'm in no hurry to watch it.
My cruise spirals after that.
I bet. I mean,
it's really tough for a while, but we make it through.
Otis is even very protective over all of his guys. Over all the guys.
He is.
Like I love the episode where Herman bought all that energy water. And it was a pyramid scam.
Yep.
And Otis is like non-refundable. That's just a fancy word they use. And he got the phone. He convinced the person he's a lawyer, and he got it all fixed for him. And I love watching him do that over and over again. All these people, and I feel like they kind of look at him like he's a joke sometimes because he's a prankster.
Yeah.
Like when he convinced Mouch that the people were not really Canadian and they were from Cleveland.
It actually makes me mad how they don't take him seriously. Like
exactly that. He should be taken more seriously.
I know he's a jokester, but he's not like, I don't know that
he's not a joke. He's a jokester.
I don't feel like it ever changes.
It doesn't. Not the. I don't know.
No, and see for him too. Like I absolutely love him. His death ruined me. Like it killed me. I boycotted Fire for a while. I adored Otis, and I loved him and Cruz's friendship. And it used to make me so mad because they made him the butt of the joke all the time. Like. Especially like at the very beginning, like Otis, him being called Otis was a butt of the joke type of thing too.
Yeah,
that was a whole joke.
And like he took that personally for a minute too. Like he always had everyone else's back, and not that no one else had his back, but he always was kind of like, I want to say like not really the nerd of the fire station, but like the outcast kind of.
I feel like they needed him to be the humor. They needed him to be the levity because their jobs are hard and their jobs can be very depressing, and they needed him because it's not like they're cops where they're investigating situations. They go and they put out a fire. Sometimes people die, sometimes they don't, and then they have to move on to the next fire real quick. It's not like they spend time in these things. So they needed that. And I feel like they try to keep Otis there because he's good at being the levity of the group. Yeah. But that means that he didn't get a lot of respect outwardly, but I think deep down they did respect him. And they didn't show it enough.
We finally had him a love a match, which like that made me mad that I'm like, why is everybody that he keeps asking out turns him down or doesn't want to be with him? He's adorable and he's sweet and he's kind and like he would be a catch. And so I like was waiting for him to finally find somebody who saw that in him. And
I love when they convinced Peter Mills to wear his blues to the picnic, and then they see him at the bar the next day and he's in his dress outfit. Like, what are you doing? It works. Getting 2 drinks for 2 women.
I remember that. I forgot about that part. I remember that now.
See, I'm gonna bring back all the old memories for you.
Oh,
all right. Who just gave their number 9?
Me.
That was yours, Amanda.
So it's your
my number 8. Now the only reason these next 2 are as low on the list as they are is because I could not bump the rest of my list down anymore. Or they would be up much higher. Herman is my number 8.
Oh, that's my number 6.
Mine too.
That
is your number 8, Eve?
He is, yeah.
That is my favorite fire character.
I love him. And I'm waiting for the moment when he buys Molly's. Because I'm watching him make all these bad decisions with money. I just passed the episode where he bought the limousine company and he had that guy who's going to give money. He's like, just pick me up and let's see how it goes. Poor Herman. Like, this is not what he signed up for at all.
This is a moment when we need to also talk about Cindy Herman, because that woman is a saint.
Yes.
The fact that she loves and supports him in all of his bad decisions that he makes.
And I do like he said one line in a couple episodes ago that I watched where I don't remember if it was Mouch or Otis, but one of them said, I thought you liked your father-in-law. And he said, the best way to ruin a relationship with your father-in-law is to move in with your father-in-law.
I mean, I believe it.
So he's got some wisdom to him a little bit.
Yeah.
He wants to make money so bad that he just impulsively jumps into these get rich quick schemes, which are never get rich.
He's got a million kids to support, so I mean, I get it, like
when he buys Molly's, Jeanette, I don't know if you're there yet or not, but when he buys Molly's, he's such a freaking cheapskate. It is so funny.
Yeah, no, he's always. I love it.
Because he got burned so many times making really, really bad money decisions.
Yeah, he's so funny.
But I like that he takes on this fatherly role to so many people. I mean, he did it with Chili. He did it with Gabby. And I feel like he kind of does it with Stella even some. I mean, he always wants to take over this fatherly role for like these people that work in the firehouse. And
well, even the chief kind of gives him that, like when that kid comes, when the chief suspects that kid of arson, it's Herman who he asks to go and keep an eye on him and talk to him and get him to open up and hang out with him.
Well, I think, for the longest time, he's the only one that has kids in the firehouse, right? So,
I think so.
and I love how fired up he gets whenever there's a child involved in anything. I think it's just a true testament. I feel like parents, like we do that. Like we get really fired up when there's something like that involves a child. Like it makes you madder than anything else.
Or even his team attack, because there's that one episode where there was the gang had the house was on fire and the gang shot at them through the door. And when that kid came out, Herman tackled him and the chief had to pull him off the case because he was that fired up that how dare you shoot at my people. He's just a decent, good-hearted, kind man.
Such a good guy. Yeah.
Eve, why was he your number 8?
Yeah, just because he's the dad of the fire station. Yeah, he just takes on that role so effortlessly, and he's a lieutenant now, which I was like, as soon as he took that lieutenant exam, I was like, someone make this man a lieutenant, please. And he fought so hard to get Ritter on his team. He fought hard to get Shelby. Who was that other guy? The one who had the criminal past? Mason, is that his name?
Mason. No, yeah,
yeah. So every time, so has gotten better since his pyramid scheme days, thank goodness. But every time Herman gets an idea in his head, you know that it's for the good. So if he's going all in for something, and everyone's sitting there like, no, Herman, what are you thinking? I'm like, I think that he's thinking it's a good idea and that you all should listen to him.
Yeah. Even with the limo thing where he wanted it because he wanted to get that house for his family. And when the guy was not up to his standards, he didn't want his money anymore.
If you have Herman on your side, like you've got a lifetime supporter, basically. Yeah. Like he's a ride or die. Like he'll go hard for you.
All right, Shelby, who's your number 8?
We already talked about her, Maggie.
Okay, Jeanette, who's your number 8?
Here's another sad one. Al.
Oh, he was 7 for me.
For you?
Yes, like there's so look, I couldn't put all the PD characters right at the top, so I had to like space them out. So I picked my top like 3 of them, and then I started.
I think I'm more disappointed in you for that than I am about anything else.
Plus, he's gone now, and for me, it's like not
more
as
reason
fresh.
to put him toward the top.
I know. Well, but he can't go above
Out of sight, out of mind.
The other 3, he's still my 4th PD character.
Amanda's not allowed to speak for the rest of this episode.
He's on my list though.
She said out of sight, out of mind. How dare you? How
I'm just
dare
saying,
you?
like when we're making these lists, like we haven't seen him in a while, so
he's number 2 for me.
Kind of go lower. He's number 7 for me.
He's 7 for me too.
Eve, is he on your list?
There.
Honorable mentions for me.
Boom, boom, boom.
So you said Otis wrecked Fire for you. I'm starting to get emotional just thinking about this. Like his death.
Awful.
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my gosh, it was so bad. It was so bad. Is it worse than Nadia? Well, technically I didn't see Nadia's because I didn't watch the SVU episode.
It was worse than Nadia's for Maureen because Maureen didn't see Nadia's. So
Nadia got taken in an episode. So next episode she was already dead. So that's all I knew.
It's not worse in the fact of how gruesome hers was, but I feel like emotionally
it was horrible.
It's harder.
Like
if you love Al, if you don't love Al, then it won't be.
I'm sorry.
No, it's heartbreaking.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
My husband,
she doesn't love Will or have Ruzick on her list, so I don't know what Shelby's thinking.
That's true.
I don't have.
You have him at number 7, Jeanette. That's what we're talking about right now. He's low on your list.
I have to. I had to look. I was trying to be when I originally made my list. It was like all PD characters down to like number 8, and I was like, no, that's not fair. Let's space these out. Well, Will, he was mixed in the top, but I was like, I gotta split them up. So he's my 4th PD person. He just happens to be 7 on the list.
Is he 7 or 8 for you?
8.
7. Oh, 8. Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
Not 7.
Because he's 7 for me and Shelby.
Yes, 8.
Yes. He's number 2 for me. Now, no one told me he was going to die. No one told me this. So I'm going along my little PD life. Everything's fine. Everything's happy. Everything's going great.
Oh,
all of a sudden, Nadia wasn't there. We're like, wait, did we miss an episode? And so I went to look it up, and it said when Al dies, and I was like, what? And I remember writing in the chat in all capital letters, Al dies? And I was like, we didn't want to tell you. So I knew what episode it was, but I couldn't see the little numbers on my screen to know what episode I was on. So until he died, every episode I was like hyperventilating a little bit. And then he actually died, and I was this hot mess. And 1 second my husband left the room and I was fine. And the next second he came in, he's like, what? Are you okay? What just happened?
Who died?
He died. He's like, who? I said, Al. And he went, who? And I said,
Casey
him. And he went, oh, Casey Jones died. Yeah, that sucks.
Yo,
So my
I fast
husband wasn't
forwarded
even
it.
into it.
I fast forwarded it. I couldn't
See,
watch it.
That's how I felt with Otis, because I was watching it live. Well, not like on the actual TV, because I don't watch the actual TV, but
The next
I
day.
watched it the day after, and I didn't know that he died because I was watching it technically live. And my favorite guy, I'm like,
That was hard. That was a hard death.
This is why I research shows when I start them to find out who I'm going to
Oh
lose.
yeah, when I fall
I've
in
never
love
done
with
that.
someone, I need to look them up
Mhm.
and find out how long they're gonna stick around, because I don't
Absolutely.
want to be surprised.
We
I
can't
don't
have
do
another.
that until I start to see trouble, and then I'll look it up. But
No,
there was no indication there was going to be trouble for the longest time.
see,
No, I look it up.
Otis's death for me was the equivalent of how DeLuca was for you,
I was going to
Jeanette.
say, DeLuca is the reason why I look these things up now. I can't have a repeat of that situation. I
I
won't
like
survive
that
it.
every death we ever talk about on this podcast goes back to what DeLuca did to Jeanette.
It was
Always-
the worst.
It always has to circle back to DeLuca. Every
That's
was
because it
legit-
was that traumatic.
It was in mourning. Me and the man, she experienced it with me. Okay, we were in mourning for days after.
I wore
Like,
black.
I honestly felt. I'm not kidding. I woke up feeling like a family member had actually died. This is how sad I was, and I'm not
That's how I
trying to
felt
be.
about Al.
I'm not trying to be dramatic, but like I even told David, I said, man, I can't get out of this funk today. And he's like, what's wrong? I was like, well, DeLuca died. He's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
I'm sad right now.
That's how it was when Al died, and it took me a minute to get back into watching PD after that, because the whole time I was just waiting for this episode so I could be done. But then I was afraid to go to sleep because I didn't want to have another night where I was freaked out watching the episodes. And then he died, and then I just went to bed horribly, horribly sad, and my face was hot, and I couldn't stop crying. And then it took me like a week, maybe no, not a week. It didn't take me a week. It took me a couple days before I could watch the next episode. And the next episode was somehow worse.
That's how I was with Otis. And then I feel like, because I love Cruz so much, the whole downward spiral of Cruz was almost worse than actually seeing Otis die.
Sometimes it is.
What happens to those left behind. Yeah.
Because Al, what got me was the episode after, when Adam is so sad because this is his mentor. Like, this is like almost like a father figure to him. And then when Hank breaks down and cries.
Oh
man.
That was
I was like,
and then when he wasn't allowed at the funeral, like he's standing in his dress blues in the back, but
I get it though.
That's his best friend. I know, but that's his best friend.
I get
and he had
it
to
though.
watch from afar.
I
get it though.
There.
I don't blame Hank. You'll have to.
Or Shelby hasn't
You'll
seen
have to
this
see
yet.
Shelby.
Yeah, Meredith wouldn't let him there.
Know that
No.
Jeanette blames Hank a little bit for his death. I don't.
I
do. I do.
Well, hold on. Screw Meredith.
No.
I don't like Meredith.
Okay, hold on. I have to defend her in this moment, because I wouldn't have let him at David's funeral either had the situation been reversed. Because the reason Al is even in prison is for something that Hank did.
But you're with David. Meredith is AWOL right now.
They're back together by
Yeah,
then.
they don't stay AWOL. The reason Al goes to where he goes is because he made a decision with Aaron outside of Hank. They didn't tell Hank they were doing it, they just did it.
Hank
Because of loyalty.
should have stepped up and took action immediately and not let Al sit in prison like that.
He did try, and Al said, no,
not.
let it ride,
He did
let it
not.
ride. And then he was on his way to go fix it, and then he died. He actually got it fixed. And then once he got it fixed, he went to tell Al, and Al had already died.
Well, maybe he had done it. He should have done it a little quicker. I'm just saying.
I'd agree with that. But
Knees to chest, Hank. Knees to chest.
I love Hank and all, but that moment is why Hank is just an honorable mention for me, if I'm being honest with you.
See, I think Al would have done it the exact same way. That's why he's still on my list.
Yeah.
But
I don't think Al would have been mad at Hank.
No.
I don't care.
Because Al was telling him, don't do anything, don't do anything, don't do anything. And old cop code, Hank was abiding by it until Hank couldn't anymore. And then Hank went to fix it, and he fixed it, and then it was too late. But first of all, Al brought in Adam. I think that's the biggest reason there, is because Al brought in Adam. And Al introduced Jeanette to Adam. And that's part of her love for Al, I think. But Al goes off of his gut. He's incredibly kind. He's very intuitive. He's smart. He can sniff crap out of anybody. And there's another episode where there was somebody who it was on his class file or on his files, and they got out of prison, or he didn't get caught or something, and he's going through all of his boxes to find his old files, and he was up until like 3 a.m, and Meredith had to call Hank. That was like, that's how seriously Al took everything he did.
Yeah.
And he was dedicated.
Yeah, and I mean, that right there, he's loyal to a fault. I mean, I remember in those episodes that whatever his name was, that jerk that got him sent to prison, he was like, oh yeah, basically just thinking like he was going to eventually break. And I'm like, Al is not going to break, because that's not who he is.
Oh, I hated
he
that guy.
Never.
The one thing that I like about Al a lot too right now, this is where I'm at, but Meredith basically told him to either put his daughter in foster care or she was done with him. And he chose his daughter, well, love child, I guess, if you want to call it that,
It's his daughter.
over her. And yeah, I guess, but still, like, I feel like that's really honorable too. I mean, and then he goes to live with Ruzek, and Ruzek and Kim walks in this skimpy little dress, like basically wanting to drink wine and get some, and
Al's just like, hey, how's it going?
Not just Al, but Al and his daughter are living there with Ruzek
in a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. Are you making fettuccine Alfredo? That's my favorite.
Poor Adam. When he asked him, he didn't even like give him a chance to respond. He just walked in. Adam's like, okay.
Then Al goes, so I was thinking she can have the bedroom and I guess we can just sleep on the couch. So like he gives his daughter Adam's room.
Yeah.
But Adam did exactly what Al said.
Because that's his father figure.
Exactly. And that's the kind of respect that Al garners from people. He's that's why he's my number 2. Because I mean, admittedly, part of the reason he's my number 2 is because he's Casey Jones. But the other part is because, I mean, Al Vitalinski is a pretty phenomenal human being. He can make the wrong choices. But even in the beginning, when Hank was like killing those people that were bad, and I was like, wait, what? Al actually eventually, he's like, no, we can't do this. There's a better way. And that was partly his relationship with Adam. But even Al, he would stand up to Hank when he needed to stand up to Hank.
Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of took over your explanation. It was your turn to give you, but
that's okay.
I had to, yeah.
Go for it. Yeah.
Tie for me. Okay, so who is Amanda? Who's your number 8?
Oh, me. Hank Voight.
Okay.
He was 6 for me.
He's 5.
He's not on my list. He's an honorable mention for me.
Honorable mention for me.
He's number 8.
But he's the person that I really wanted to put on my list, but I was like, no, I've got to equally try to put some fire and med people.
Where would he be if you did put him on your list?
I mean, he would be the bottom of my
so around 8
people.
Like Amanda's?
Yeah, probably right around there. Yeah.
So Amanda, why is he 8 for you?
He's 8 for me because there's people who have not been buttheads as much as he has. Me and Hank have gone round and round because, like I said earlier, I watched Fire first.
Yeah.
And I hated him when I started PD. But somehow I feel like within the first season of PD, I was already,
yeah,
like he was already like wrapping me around his finger, and I was like, what is going on? This is somebody I don't like. I do not like this man at all. I like for a second, I don't like this man, but yet I love him now.
Yeah.
And I don't know when or how that happened.
Hank sneaks up on you a little bit.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, I get mad when people talk about him. Like I said, I'll defend every PD character. Like,
I'm like, no, you got to keep watching.
Yeah,
I get mad when people think they know better than Hank. That's when I get mad.
I get very defensive over him.
Jeanette came at me hard when I told her that I wasn't watching PD because of Hank Voight.
I didn't get it.
She like it almost ruined our friendship.
Well, because I thought like when you were saying he was like a bad guy, I was thinking it was like PD version of him bad, and I was like, that's fine, it's for all the right reasons. But I mean, once I saw him like have Matt jumped like because of all this stuff, and like I mean, I was like, okay, well now I get it. And we like threatened Gabby. Like I was like, okay, well now I understand. Like this is pretty bad.
He threatened Gabby?
Yeah, when like he like pulled her like over or whatever and like approached her.
Oh, Haley.
Maybe intimidated her, maybe threatened.
Haley, it was Haley.
No, Gabby on fire.
Gabby on fire.
Gabby.
On fire.
Oh, because he pulled Haley over and he threatened Haley.
He's been really
well. It's Hank.
I thought once he got arrested after the Casey thing that he was out of fire. Did he come back after that?
No, he did it before he got arrested.
No, not to Gabby.
Yeah, he pulled her over and like I swear I'm gonna look up the episode. Like it happened.
Because I just passed those episodes. It was Haley.
Haley wasn't on there yet.
Yeah.
You're talking about other Haley. Okay, it was Haley. I'm like,
oh, I was thinking Haley Upton.
Haley on
And I'm
Fire has
like,
been gone
Haley.
so long.
So confused.
I forgot she existed.
Okay.
Yes, you are correct then on that one.
I know.
I was like, Haley Upton, she was never on Fire back then. I
know.
confused.
That's why I was so confused.
Okay.
Just because someone has to say it, Maureen was right.
That's fine. I meant I was really confused there.
I'm
Because Haley, like, she
more
doesn't last very long, and so I totally forgot she existed. If I'm being honest,
Who's Haley?
She was Matt's fiance when they first start Fire.
Yeah, we forgot.
She lasts for the first half of season 1, and then
I promise I have not seen season 1 of Fire in many years.
She died at the end of season 1.
She died?
Oh, sorry. Yes, she does.
I mean, I don't really care about her, so it's not that big of a deal, but I know she died.
I had forgotten about her because, like, I was starting to rewatch Fire before Jeanette, I guess, talked me into PD, if that's what you want to call it. More like guilted me into watching it. And
deservedly so.
And I completely forgot about Haley. I had Hank at number 6.
He's my number 5.
Because he grew on me since I watched PD.
I think that's special to you and Amanda because I started with PD. So I never got the fire Hank until now. I'm getting that after I'm already in love with him. I'm like, ah. And I find myself trying to make excuses for him. Like, maybe he's not really going to do that bad. Maybe he's not, but he really was that bad.
Yeah. He was just a butthole on fire.
He was a dirty cop.
I do love though
when Casey or Hank comes in and takes Casey out for dinner or for a drink, and Bowden follows them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hank freaks out on Casey, and then Bowden sits down and he's like, "Can we have a minute private conversation?" Bowden's like, No, you can't. And then Hank just leaves. So there wasn't anything I could defend him with. It was that moment. I was like, oh crap.
Yep.
He really is as bad as he is. But in PD, he is good at what he does, and he is good for Chicago. He does bad things. He makes stupid decisions with the criminals. But he is good for Chicago in the end.
I absolutely adore Bowden too. He didn't make it onto my list. He was one that I was like flipping back and forth between, but I adore Bowden too.
Do you want to know why he didn't make it to my honorable mentions until just now? Because I didn't remember his name until 3 seconds ago. Hank, though, is there anything else you want to say about Hank? Because Hank is also very, very loyal. He's got that old world cop loyalty.
He's got that character growth that
he does.
I feel like we all love.
And we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, but a perfect way to describe how Hank cops or polices is when Mouse tried to get that tech board up. And
Mouse, that's another one I didn't have on my stupid list. Guys.
Good censoring there, Shelby, because that was not the word you started to say.
I just want to say that Mouch is on my honorable mentions list.
Mouse.
I said Mouse.
Oh, Mouse from PD.
Yeah, the tech guy.
I thought we were saying
when he tried getting that big interactive techie board up there, and Hank just walked up to it and taped a picture over it.
I remember.
That's who Hank is as a cop. He's good. He's loyal. But he knows his work and he knows his people. He was dirty because he knew how to work them. But that's what needed to happen.
Usually he's dirty for the good reasons. In Fire, he was just dirty to be dirty.
But I don't think he was dirty for good reasons until after he got out of prison.
Maybe. I think Justin really changed. Justin's death really did change.
Wait, he dies?
No.
Somebody else.
Different Justin.
It's okay, Shelby. Keep watching.
Now I don't want to.
It's okay. Well, it's like a blip.
It's a much easier death than Alvin's is.
It's like a blip. I forget he was ever a character.
His death is what leads to Alvin, so.
But he's got a little baby.
Yeah, I know.
He can't die.
Well, I wanted to quit Fire after Otis died, and you wouldn't let me. So you have to keep watching PD.
You can't quit over Justin Boyd.
If it makes you feel any better, you're real close to his death.
Yeah.
I
thought you were already past it.
Oops.
Well, I was kind of putting off watching because of Nadia's death, and then I kind of like powered through that, and then I had to give it a couple days. So
the first few seasons are rough. They kill a big person every season for the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah,
more than that.
I think every season.
Up until these last 2 seasons, they've killed somebody.
I have to tell you that after Al's death, or after I found out Al was going to die, I did not watch that show without anxiety. So moving on, my number 7, and I really actually did hate him to put this low, but again, my PD people is Joe Cruz.
He's not on my list.
What?
He's not even an honorable mention. I'm not even going to say anymore. I'm just going to.
You don't like Joe? Shelby has something very important to say.
Fire. I promise. Keep watching Fire.
I'm already on season 7, guys. He annoys me.
No, he gets much better even after. Once he finds his wife.
He's already
emotional about this.
Go
ahead, Shelby. Go ahead, say it. He's your number 1. Is that what this was?
Yes.
Yeah. I knew
he's my Cruz. About him. I love him. I love everything about Cruz.
I love him too.
I
adore Cruz.
He's in my honorable mentions.
Mine too.
But I do love him.
Decent guy.
Yeah.
After Otis died, okay, I didn't feel this way about him until after Otis died, and then after Otis died, like everything came full circle to me, because him and Otis were the best of friends, and he went through it like bad after Otis died. Then he named his baby Otis, and then recently he adopted a little boy, and he's just the best daddy ever, and he could be my daddy, and I just love him.
Okay, I feel like you're mixing that word a little bit too smoothly for my liking. I don't think those 2 versions of daddy mean the same thing to you.
No, I'm just joking. I'm not physically attracted to him at all. I was just joking. I wanted to see you squirm, but I love him.
It's not real hard to do right now, Shelby.
He reminds me of my dad. I think that's why I like him, to be honest.
See, I just like him because I think he's funny. I think he's lighthearted. I think he's kind, and I think he's a truly good person. I just passed the episode in season 1 where he let that guy die in the firehouse. And all I could think is, oh my gosh, he's not built like the PD people. This guy's going to spin out on this. And he did. And he tried to confess it to Casey. And Casey had to say, listen, no, you can't stop. But I think even that killed Joe, that he couldn't confide in somebody that this is what I've done.
And he spins out later too. I really thought that he was going to stop being a firefighter for a minute.
Yeah, that made me really nervous. I texted Shelby. I was like, do I need to be worried about Joe leaving? Because I may definitely have to quit.
So he's number 7 for me. He's 1 for Shelby. Is he on your list, Eve?
He was on my honorable mentions just because there are so many other people that I also love. So
Shelby and I are the only 2 with Joe on our list.
He's on my honorable mention. He's actually number 2 on my honorable mentions. He's high up there.
Jeanette has 0 love for Joe Cruz.
The thing is, it's not like I'm like, oh, I hate Joe, but I just don't. I feel nothing for him. Like, he's funny sometimes, but
it's like me and Will.
Me and Will too.
I want Joe to be my friend.
Now you know how we feel about Will.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having Will as my friend either. But...
Oh, I wouldn't want Will as my friend.
I do.
I would take him as my friend.
I think I want him as more than my friend.
Probably. All right, Jeanette, who's your number 7? Who's your number 7, Jeanette?
Otis. So we've already talked about him.
Shelby, who's your number 7?
Al.
Eve, I can't even look at you right now. Eve, who's your number 7?
To continue the trend, we did mine already too, and it was Stella.
Okay. Amanda, who's your number 7?
Al.
All right.
It's number 7.
Back to me.
Maureen, who's your number 6?
The rest are all PD people, so just be forewarned. Number 6, and Jeanette's probably not gonna like this that she's number 6, but it's Kim. Is my number 6.
That's my number 2. That's my girl crush. Like, I'm obsessed with Kim Burgess.
Kim is my
She wasn't even on my list.
You don't have.
Okay, no, you don't get to be mad. You don't get to be mad if Alvin is not higher on your list. You don't get to be mad.
I do get to be mad. She doesn't have Will, Adam, or Kim. Those are my top 3, and none of my top 3 are on her list.
That's true. I think. Oh no,
that's
my
why
top
we
3
work so well together.
What I like about Kim, she's badass.
Badass.
She's a
like
beast in the field.
Freaky.
Now, at first, from the
superhero.
very first season, when she went from beat cop and how nervous she was when she would do it, when she was talking to Hank, I was like, I can't see her as intelligence. I don't think she's going to do well at that. But watching her in intelligence, like she is phenomenal at her job.
Yeah.
And I think she's amazing. What I don't like is, and this has to do with who my number 1 is.
She toys with Adam. Yeah, I agree.
Don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that she
that-
only wants Adam to be a parent when it's convenient for her, and then she'll rip it away from her when she wants all the control for herself. I don't like that. It's not fair. It's not nice. If she were not that way, then she would be higher on my list, but I can't bump her up higher because of that.
I mean, I agree with that completely. I do think, I mean, like the reason I think she was just timid in the beginning and she just didn't have her own self-confidence, but
well, she also just came out of the academy to be a beat cop too, didn't she?
Yeah. She is so like, I think she's the smartest of all of them, like as far as like figuring things out. And the reason I'm going to say this, okay, the episode that was fairly recent, the really creepy guy with the traveled around the attics or whatever, like,
oh gosh,
this? Okay,
that episode freaked me out.
I hated that episode. Hated it.
Figured that stuff out. Like, I mean, just talking about the pink dust falling. I mean, it was just like her mind as far as like the investigative skills.
Yeah.
I feel like it's top notch, and even more so than like most of the other team, I think. I mean, I feel like it's her that figures stuff out a lot.
I think it's pretty equal. What I've noticed the trend in PD is each of them, when they have something really, really personally emotional going on, they get much better at their professional work.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Because they need to block it out or they need to refocus on something else. So they hit their police work hard. And that's why she notices the stuff that the kid was saying with the pink snow, because there was something personal going on with her that she was trying hard to like keep separate and to just not focus on.
Yeah.
Because I think all of them have those moments.
I feel like that's what I like about PD is
no one's a single star.
Well, not only that, but when like something like a tragedy happens, they carry on. Like they don't like harp on that one thing, even through the really bad stuff. You know, they keep pushing on and working, because I hate watching a show and like 5 episodes is of everybody upset and crying. Like that's not where my mind wants to go for my imaginary land.
Yeah.
Like Levi on Grace.
I was just thinking
like,
that.
Like speed it up. Like, come on. Like, I don't want to cry, get it over with and move on.
I agree.
That's what I like about PD2 is it's fast paced.
Yes.
But
like, it's just like, okay, let's go, move.
And I think each of them, they're so hardwired because intelligence is their life. Like they spend so much. I'm amazed that anyone can have a relationship outside of that department.
No,
They don't usually.
That's why they're all with each other.
But except for poor Kevin.
I know. We need another female like
detective. But with Kim, she is very good at it. And I think that she's constantly proving herself, because you know there was that one time with her sister when she had to step off the job, and then she got beat up and she had to take a couple days off, and then she got shot and then she had to take a couple, like it just I feel like the woman feels like she has to continue proving herself, because it almost, I think to her, she must think I must be the weakest link if I'm the one who keeps getting taken off the job. So she's continued to fight harder and harder to prove herself, but she doesn't have to prove herself because they all see how awesome she is.
I mean, not that I want anything to happen to anyone else,
but beat up on her.
In season 10, I think Kim needs a break. She's really been through enough, but I think she needs a season where there's no physical, emotional, any sort of injury happening to her. Like she needs to just be allowed to be happy with Adam. We'll just throw that part in there too, but
we'll circle back to that one in a few more minutes, I'm sure.
So is Kim on anybody else's list? She's my number 6. She's Jeanette's number 2. She's your number 6 too.
Yeah.
Amanda has
redeemed herself.
I love Kim. Kim is like right up there with Stella to me, with being my girls.
If I'm being honest, Kim and Adam, the only reason Adam is above Kim is because he's hot. I mean, and I mean that only because like I like them character-wise equally.
I wanted to put her higher, but then I couldn't put her above anyone in my top 5 because of how crappy she is to Adam about Michaela. I just could not do it.
Maybe it's because I love her so much that I forget, even though I love Adam and I get mad, I don't get as mad as everyone else does about it.
I think I love Adam more than Kim. So then when Kim kind of just, craps all over him, then that makes me really, really upset.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is upsetting whenever she is like that towards Adam.
But I think she's better now. I mean, I know it's been just the last few episodes of this season, but I really think they've taken a turn to where things are good.
I don't know. Right after that, she did tell him about the change at dinner and didn't text him or anything because she still handled it the way she wants to handle it. So, I mean,
But I mean, I think since his almost overdose,
Yeah.
I feel like
Wasn't
there was
that
a
like
turn.
the season finale?
No.
Oh, the bombing was the season finale.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
To
The
me,
one thing
things with Adam stick out much more in my mind than other things do. What, Shelby?
The one thing I don't like about Kim though is she plays head games sometimes. Like she took Roman's advice about the whole like wedding thing, like talking about pushing it back and stuff. And then she had the audacity to get mad that Adam agreed with her to push it back when it was her idea to push it back. Like I understand like it was a mind game type of thing, but like you don't do that.
You don't test the people you live. I know that Jeanetta's probably going to say that was more Roman than Kim, but Kim still went through with it. And the thing is, I got upset with that too, because the thing that I was thinking is, Adam was just trying to support you and do what you wanted to do.
Yeah, it's like Adam is probably sitting here thinking, oh, well, I love her and she wants to push the wedding back. So if that's what it takes to marry her, then okay.
But I will say, as much as I want them together, I think at that moment in time, I'm glad that they didn't go through with it, because I think they needed to grow to where they are. I think season 10 is going to be their season. I feel like they've grown enough that we can finally do this.
Yeah, because the last couple seasons, they've been honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But then they weren't being, like, I feel like Adam was being open and honest with her, but I feel like she was hiding all the honesty from him. She wasn't being clear about anything.
He had been engaged twice before, and he hadn't told her about the one of them. I mean, he was being Adam. That was not Adam's best self. I think Adam's best self is current Adam.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, who's your number 6 then, Jeanette?
Herman. We already talked about him too.
Shelby, who's your number 6?
Hank.
Okay. Eve is Kim. Amanda, who's your number 6?
Dr. Charles.
My number 5.
I should have put him on my honorable mentions. I love him.
Yeah. He's my number 3.
I forgot about him.
Oh, I love that man.
Oh my gosh, it was hard to put him at 6. Like I almost wanted to put him higher. I just couldn't. Like
yeah. I do love Dr. Charles.
Mm-hmm.
He's good on every one of the shows he appears on.
He's great.
He's great. I mean, and
I like Oliver Platt and almost anything he does. So
yes,
he is. He's pretty. I mean, he's made me angry several times throughout Mad. Like, well, a few times.
Get over it really quick with him, though. Like,
but I do, yeah.
Mad, it's like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, but he's like grandpa, so you like, you get mad at him, but you're like, he's old, it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, not
and
for
then
me, not grandpa, but dad, I think for
sure. There you go. That's better.
I mean, he's not 80, so
he acts it half the time. Well, he does. I'm sorry.
I mean, so
I love him.
You have him as number 6. Eve has him as number 3. Who else has him on their list?
I have him as 5.
Okay. Shelby's like, nah, I don't like Dr. Charles.
I like him. I don't know why he wasn't on my list.
I'm in the same category. I completely forgot about him. Eve, why is he number 3 for you?
He is my number 3 because I feel like a lot of times he is the voice of reason.
Mm-hmm.
And also because I like how different Med is in that they have someone, a regular character, whose job it is to deal with, the psychiatry part of everything. Because and I know we said it on the last podcast, but on other TV shows, a lot of times they say, oh, just send it up to psych. And then that's the end. We don't really get to see the process.
Yeah.
And I love how calm he is.
It's calm, like
he's very calming, even when he's talking to a completely crazy patient.
Mm-hmm.
He's just sitting, and he's sitting there saying, "Oh, well, this is totally reasonable. Why don't you explain more about that?" I'm like, Dr. Charles, she's crazy. What are you doing?
He's so good at that. Yeah, I mean. He would not like you using the term crazy, though, Eve. Like he would like that.
He would not approve, and I am very sorry. Dr. Charles, please forgive me. I still love you.
I miss him on PD. I miss him a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's there for like not just like patients, but I mean, we see him. He's there for like colleagues and stuff whenever they're going through stuff. I mean, he's always there to sort of be the ear. I mean, I know he's a psychiatrist. That's what he does, but I don't know. And him and Sharon's friendship is probably one of my favorite friendships of all of the shows. I love it.
I do too.
I think we
At the beginning, I always thought there was something kind of romantic between him and Sharon.
Yeah. They're just best
now
friends.
I don't think so. But
I'd love to see him in a relationship again, because obviously his most recent one didn't work out. Not since Cece.
I love Cece.
I feel like his last one was good.
Yeah.
The
never gonna work out.
Psychiatrist.
It wasn't gonna last long.
No,
I don't think so. I thought she would have stuck
she
around
knows
longer
all
than she
his
did.
deep dark secrets. I feel like that would be awkward.
That's true. Dating your ex therapist.
Yeah, that's just
that sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah,
probably
it really does.
The one thing about him too that I love is I know that he had his demons with his older daughter, but he's a really good dad to what's her face?
Yeah, the young one, the 13.
Forget her name. What is her name? Yeah, Anna. Yes. No,
That's
I think
right.
so. I mean, I think he was an absent father to a lot of them for a little bit, and I don't know if that was just his career at the time and just but even him and Robin.
I think it was.
The last time we saw her, I mean, they have a good relationship now. So I mean,
and the way that he is with Anna, his daughter, is the same way he is with his colleagues, with his patients. Like when she was going through her whole pregnancy scare thing, and she had, I forget what the medical term was, but it was some kind of miscarriage. And he's just like, okay, well, let's go get your coat and we're gonna go get you checked out at the hospital.
Yeah.
Just totally, completely calm. I'm like, you are not like most dads.
I would not be that calm.
He's just
I would not either, probably.
I like him because he's just calm. He's chill.
Like, I want him as a therapist. I feel like
can he be a real therapist?
Please.
All right. So where are we at? Who are we on?
My number 5.
So Maureen,
My number 5 is Hank. So Jeanette, who's your number 5?
Dr. Charles.
All right. Shelby, who's your number 5?
Otis.
Okay. And Eve, your number 5 is
Will.
Amanda, who's your number 5?
Brett.
Oh, that's what we haven't talked about yet. All right.
She's an honorable mention for me. Like, she's the top of my honorable mention list.
She's honorable mention, but she's way at the top there.
Nope. She's number 5. I love me some Sylvie Brett. Again, she's made me mad a few times, but she's always redeemed herself and more. I love how she went in after everything happened with Shay. I didn't think I was going to like her.
Yeah.
Because of everything that happened. I didn't think I was going to like her. I didn't even want to give her a freaking time of day, but she really won me over.
Yeah.
And I really ended up loving Sylvie Brett.
I would compare her like to the female version of Matt, that I mean, she is like truly good. I mean, she has her morals and she sticks to them. I mean, all the time, at least where I'm at so far. I know I'm not finished, but I really like her
that
too.
way.
And she's a tough cookie too. She's got guns pointed at her head and she just screams, I need to help your friend. So if you could take that gun away from my head, I'm like, I be peeing my pants right now.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to her being back.
Oh, me too.
I miss her so much.
She was back the last episode.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing that she's back for good, hopefully.
She said she was back for good.
Oh, good. Because that other woman was terrible.
Oh, God. If we did a least favorite characters, then that name I'm not allowed to
number
say
1
on here would be number 1.
Well, we're on number 4 now. So my number 4 is Kevin.
Me too.
Oh, he was 2 for me.
Easy. And I wanted to move him up higher. But
he's not on Amanda's list. Watch.
He's on my honorable mentions.
How?
Because
not only is he beautiful,
it was so hard. I love Kevin.
Somehow
he's gonna be
better every season. Like, I don't know how he does this, but every season he just gets better.
I think Leroy's is my obsession right now.
I mean, that's a good one to have.
Not bad.
He's so hot.
Like, I'm gonna have to find like everything that he's in after I'm done with this because I'm obsessed. Absolutely, positively obsessed.
You're gonna be
His
like
accent, his face, his everything. Obsessed.
So tall.
Tall, dark, and handsome. With an accent, top notch, perfect. Chef's kiss.
I agree.
Hear an accent.
He has an accent.
It's because it's a Chicago accent, Maureen, and so you don't hear it.
What I like about him is, first, I mean, when we first see him, he's obviously being a parent to his siblings, and nothing's really explained about where his parents are, but we just see him devoting himself to those kids and trying to make a better life for his siblings.
Yes.
Something that he just stepped up to do. He's not complaining about it. He doesn't ever once say, oh, I wish I didn't have to do this. He's just caring for his siblings as if they're his own, and he protects them. He does whatever he can to protect them. There is a stint when I don't like his attitude.
Ooh, tell me when, because I was about to say there's a point when I don't like it either.
It's when he starts coming at Adam and all the other white cops on the squad as if they're racist.
Yep.
Same thing. Like it pops in my head.
Yeah.
The episode where Kim is missing and he's all like, Adam, we can't. What does he say? He's like, we can't change the rules just because it's Kim. And of course, that's when Adam. That's my favorite line. He's like, we most definitely can change.
Yeah.
Or what does he say exactly?
He said we most certainly can.
Because it is Kim. I'm like,
Mhm.
yes, because I'm like, Kevin, like this is your best friend. Like, why are you not feeling this way?
Yep. And
He
that
was
was
in
that
a
was more
moment.
recent, and
Mhm.
I think that's why he's not higher on my list
It's when
because
he
of
came
a
at
lot of
Adam.
that. He did. I felt like he turned against a lot of the team,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I don't know, but he was going through something
Yeah.
really hard. But
And I
he
get
turned
it.
on the team that has always been there for him, and that hurt.
I mean, Adam's like a brother to him. So like I didn't understand the turning on him. Like you know that's not the case.
Yeah.
And Adam even said, I can't understand what you're going through because
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
not
Adam
you.
was-
I'm not black. I don't understand what you're going through, but I can be here for you. And that even came, like Kevin even used that at one point to come at Adam, saying,
Yeah.
oh, you got to give me this crap about how you can't understand where I'm coming from.
Well, he can't.
He would have said he did. You would have also
But-
come at him. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't like that he acted like they were all racist all of a sudden when they hadn't been at all. There, like even with the facial recognition software where they wrongfully arrested the black guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is that stupid system.
Yeah.
All of the white cops were equally pissed off about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
they aren't racist people just because
No.
like, I get there's an issue. I get there's a racial thing, but your team who you work with day in and day out didn't
They got your
deserve the
back.
treatment that he gave them.
Yeah.
And so that was, I went through a time of like, and that's why he is number 4 for me. Like, dude, come on.
But I think he'll
Come
come. I
on.
think he'll quickly come back from
He's
that.
starting
like-
to
Oh,
already.
I think by next season, I mean, he'll probably be higher up on my list, and he would be higher up on my list. He's number 3 of my honorable mentions, so he's pretty high up on my honorable mentions. But I love other people more. Like right now, like my list will probably change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
haven't
next
mentioned
season.
any of my non-honorable mentions yet.
You
Any
haven't
of
mentioned
them?
most of mine.
And with Kevin too, like there was another point where he said, "Are we gonna do this just because it's?" Oh, it was with Sam's son, I think, or it was somebody I don't remember. But he was saying that if it was a black kid, we wouldn't do the same thing. Like, no, we did do the same thing. It was right after Sam's son because Sam's son was a black kid who they're
Yeah.
bending the rules for, and it was a white kid who came after that, and he's like, "We can't bend the rules just because it's a white kid." But you didn't have a problem bending the rules when it was a black. So just it's things like that. And I know that it's not Kevin's fault. It's the show writers trying to put this in there of, okay, we have to address it somehow because this is the climate that we're currently in our culture. We have to put it in the show. And I get that. But I didn't like that too. But other than that,
I think
The
they could
one
have
thing-
done it better.
The one thing that I like about Kevin though too is that he knows how to run the streets. Like
Yes.
he knows all the dealers, he knows the people that are doing shiesty stuff, like, and he knows how to relate to those people too because he's from that side of the hood.
And I think he brings something that no one else can bring to the team for sure.
Yeah. And I felt so bad for him when it was right around the time this stuff started happening and he went out to the streets and they started calling him a sellout and how he wasn't there for his people. And he's like, there was even a kid he arrested who was giving him a hard time about that. He's like, you should be thankful that I am a black cop and you're a black kid right now. To call me a sellout. I mean, so he is attacked day in and day out. And there was even a point in time when the ASA was in there and he was mad that she wasn't going to give this kid a deal. And he was looking at her. She said, I guarantee you all the names you're coming through your head have already been said to you and I from everybody else out there. And so I feel bad for Kevin a lot because of that, because he is attacked a lot in the neighborhood he lives in, but he's such a good guy and he's so good for the team and he brings that muscle. And even when they found Kim, it was Kevin and Jay who found her. And then what I don't like about what the show is doing to Kevin, Give that man a decent love storyline.
Well, hopefully Celeste is coming back.
I mean, she better.
I hope, because I loved her with him.
Now that situation, it was weird.
That was very weird
that he didn't tell her for so long. However, I got why he didn't.
Yeah.
I think the result would have been the exact same no matter what.
If there's a casting call for his love life, let me know. I'll move to Chicago.
My number 4 is also Kevin.
My number 4 is Nadia.
She's not on my list at all. I liked
She's
her.
not on mine because I feel like she was like a blip. You're
Yeah,
still
I
like
loved her.
early in PD, so you're still in that area. I forgot about her, to be completely honest.
She wasn't on long enough for me to even consider putting her anywhere.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's about where I'm at. So
That's
she
why
was
it's
kind of a big
fresh for you. I do like Nadia. I
Yeah.
did like Nadia.
You guys know I like a redemption story.
Mm-hmm.
She was a big redemption story, and then they did her dirty. I mean,
did.
I'm guessing that the actress had to leave. I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that they would have kept her on if they could have kept her on, because she was going places.
Mm-hmm.
They just did it for shock value because they tend to like to do that. So
It killed me that she got her policing, like she passed her test or whatever.
Yep.
And then the way that Trudy like went like fought for her to be able to have that brick or the memorial or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It was just I don't know. I got really emotional with Nadia.
I think she was a really good character. I liked her while she was on there. I just liked a lot of the main characters much better. But she was a good character, and I was sad about her death. I was really upset to know that she was I was at the point you are. I was upset when I found out that she was going to die. I didn't want her to die. I thought that she had potential to be a really good part of the team.
Yeah.
And then the way that Aaron really took her under her wing, and then the way that Aaron spiraled afterwards, it was almost as bad as the Otis Cruz thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was painful to watch.
That one hurt. Eve, what was your number 4?
My number 4 is Adam.
Oh, we're
he's
here.
my number 1.
That's
So.
also my number 1. So
He's my number 3.
Okay.
Jeanette's waiting for this all evening.
I feel
I've
like
been
we
waiting
have
for
been
this.
talking
I
about
feel
Adam
like
all
we should have
night.
been saving him for last, though.
Well, Eve had to mess it up and put
I
number
feel
4
like
on the
we've.
list. So.
I know, because I feel like we've already been talking about him a lot. So
Well, we can talk more.
He's just very close with a lot of the members, Amanda. It's not his fault. He's a good guy who everybody loves and adores.
I do. I love him
Except
too.
for me, because he's not on my list.
Shelby
That
doesn't want to
surprised
speak
me.
during this segment.
Yeah,
You
go
can
ahead
mute
and
yourself. Thank you.
please. Thank you.
So, you know what I like about him is Eve, you go first. Sorry.
You and Maureen perked up. Like,
Well, I don't really know what more I could say about Adam that hasn't been said, but
So
you know,
much.
he's beautiful, so there's that. And then
There is that.
That's all. Good night. Thanks.
I could talk about
That's
just
it.
that for this
That's
whole
it,
like
yeah.
segment.
But yeah, I know that's Jeanette's favorite part, but
It's
he's
not my
just,
favorite part.
but I don't know, he's just an all-around good guy. Even when one of the things that bothers me is Adam gets stumped on so much. Like he comes up with an idea and they're like, no, we can't do that. I'm like, why not? You all know it's going to work out in the end because it's Adam.
They do treat him a lot like his gut instinct is wrong, and it's usually not.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, you know, we're in season, what is it? We just finished season 9
Mm-hmm.
and they still don't trust him. It's like, why'd you hire this man?
I feel like
if
that's
you're
a
not
new
gonna trust
thing.
his instincts? Yeah. It's like they don't trust his instincts, and his instincts are good.
I feel like that's why they hired him, is because of his instincts.
That's why Al picked him out for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah. So I don't know why it's become more of a problem lately, but I feel like it's always been a little bit of a
I think
problem.
the more emotional he gets, the least they trust
impulsive.
him. Mhm.
I mean, for sure. You know.
Yeah. And I think with Michaela and all these like feelings kind of opening up and everything, I feel like maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, he's a little bit more vulnerable now, so he might be able, it's easier to hurt Adam.
Yeah. I will say though that what really, like when I first saw him, the very first episode, I was like, really, this is Jeanette's, like, this is who she's obsessed with right now. And it was just like the first couple of scenes, but then he started talking. I'm like, okay, I get it. Starting to get it now. He's funny. I love his sense of humor. He's sarcastic and he's hilarious and I love it. But I will point out something that drives me absolutely crazy. In the first couple seasons, anytime Adam's like, hey, I found this on the computer, and everyone's like, well, I didn't, the detective, because obviously I can't do that stuff. And all of a sudden he's their tech guy. When did he make that leap to he doesn't know anything about technology to now he's your guy to go to?
We said that last week. We think Mouse gave him lessons before he left.
He must have, because there's no way. And that was like, that was something that Al would make fun of him about all the time for, that he wasn't good at. Okay, I just remembered a scene that I need to talk about. There's this one episode when he's Al is typing on the typewriter, and Adam's like, what is that?
I remember that part.
He pulled a Rolodex, and Adam's like, what is that?
In the meantime, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, look, a Rolodex.
Yes.
And then Adam's like, what is that?
And he was brought up with a cop household, but he didn't have a great upbringing. His dad sucked.
Yeah.
Everyone thought he was
Disco
good,
Bob.
but his dad sucked.
Yeah.
And he's continuously making up for it. And it broke my heart in the last season when his dad sat in the hospital bed and said, you can't say anything because then our name will be ruined. And all the work that Adam put into correcting that last name, correcting the name of Ruzek, is going to go down the drain with his dad, because his dad sucks so bad. And his dad can't keep a hold on it. And his dad can't be a stand-up guy, even for his son. But Adam's funny. He's compassionate. He's caring. And even with Haley, like I was wondering how that split was going to work. And even in that, he was like, okay, we're okay to be gone. With Kim, it was a little harder because he had to take some time away.
Badly in love with her. So that's,
And it sucked when he came back and had to be a beat cop for a minute.
I didn't like that.
No.
I mean, I didn't like it, but I kind of liked seeing him in the uniform. So that part didn't bother me.
I don't know. Him being a beat cop just felt wrong. I was like, like, they cannot allow this to go on for much longer because he does not belong there.
You know, one thing about Adam for me, when he was doing undercover in the jail, I was texting Jeanette. I was like, I don't know what is so attractive about Adam right now in this jail stuff, but like I don't know, but
the orange jumpsuits just do it for Shelby.
But when it's him and Kevin, and I mean, it kind of does. Yeah, I'm with you. I thought the same thing.
Oh, so many dirty things I could say right now. I'm like,
please don't. And I used to say this to my husband when we were watching it together. Adam's clothes were the loudest of anybody. He was wearing like pink pants and like bright lime green pants.
But he makes it work.
He did. He always. But I noticed now since Michaela, his colors are a little more subdued. But when we first start off with Adam, it was like bright, bold colors on all. The other men were almost afraid to wear them, and Adam's like, no, I know how good I look in these. I'm just gonna put them on. I'm gonna make it work.
Into his dad role, like it works with this flannel.
That's the other thing, is him as a dad.
Oh my god!
Like when you thing about the show,
when you didn't think he could be sexier.
Yes.
He became a dad, and it was like, oh my god.
And the way he still cares for Kim, even though he acknowledges over and over again, we're screwed up right now, we're messed up right now, we're not together right now. But he cares for her so deeply that it doesn't matter that they aren't together for him. He's still going to care for her the same.
If she does not say yes and let him buy her that house and then live happily ever after, I'm done.
No.
I'm like, buddy, I will move in this house with you. You're going to take my other 2 kids too. Like, it's going to be a house full of girls, but like, I will do it. Like, come on.
Let me tell you, if she turns this down, she's moving down on my list.
Exactly. She will no longer be number 2. She will be off the list.
She'll be like 7.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to bump down Kim.
I don't know that she'll be on my list anymore.
I think she'll have to go to an honorable mention, and we will only talk about early Kim. Then.
She might.
Because I think the thing with her is that I think part of it's she's my daughter. I'm new at this. I don't want her to like you more than me kind of thing. So I think if she says no, it'll be like no, because you can't be better than me.
Yeah.
I think she's going to say yes.
I
think she'll say yes.
I think she is.
Because I mean, and that's a big thing. Adam saying, I'm not going to live here with you. It's fine. But I want Michaela to have a yard. I want Michaela to have a safe place. I want Michaela to have a place where there's none of those horrible memories. I want this to be good for Michaela. I don't need to be here for it to be good.
Yeah.
That's a good person.
That part just, no, he needs to live there with them, live happily ever after.
For the record, he was wrong about that. He does need to be there.
He will be.
That's another story.
He said,
gonna
I
happen.
don't have to live here right now, is what he said. So,
Wait till Michaela wants him to live there, and then it's just going to be.
because Michaela did. She wanted to move into that bigger apartment with him there.
The day that she calls him dad, I can't wait for it because she's already calling Kim mom now. So like I'm just waiting for her to call him dad.
And I love that he
Maybe
calls her Mac.
I know.
I think that'll upset Kim actually.
Actually, I don't. I think that will be the light bulb in her head that you know what, we are a family already.
It better be.
See, I'm mad at her about how she's treated this thing. So I don't. For me, it's just like it's better. Not that
I'm not
hope for it, but
trusting.
she's better.
Yeah,
It's good
he
now.
has no hope. She's like, there's nothing Kim can do to make this better.
There's plenty she can do to make it better. It's whether or not I think she'll actually do it.
I think she will. Because even the actors, I've heard them in a million different interviews, like Patty wants Burzek. They all want Burzek. So like, let's just do it.
Yeah. Get it
But
over with.
I think part of the thing is that the writers had this sick need to continue to make Kim suffer.
No.
So there's a chance that they're never going to get that because Kim apparently has to suffer more than anybody else in the show. All right, Amanda, what is your number 4?
My number 4 was Kelly.
My number 3 is Trudy. Jeanette, what's your number 3? Will. Okay. Shelby, what's your number 3?
Severine.
Eve, what's your number 3?
Dr. Charles.
Amanda, what's your number 3?
Adam.
I'm glad he made it to number 3. That's good.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Alvin. Jeanette, what's your number 2?
Kim.
Oh yeah, that's right. Shelby, what's your number 2?
Evan.
Oh yeah. Okay. Eve, what's your number 2?
Matt.
Amanda, what's your number 2?
Kim.
You know what's sad is that the reason all these top 3 were flying through them is because somebody else put them much lower on their list. And that just makes me sad.
Yeah.
My number 1 was Adam, obviously, because that's the right choice.
Obviously. Same.
Shelby, what's your number 1?
My Cruz.
Cruz, that's right. Eve's number 1 has not yet been mentioned.
No, he is not.
Let's hear Amanda's first.
Okay, Amanda, who's your number 1?
And then we can.
Oh, Stella.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's right. Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Now, Eve, tell us.
My number 1 is Bowden.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I want
Yes,
somebody
thank
to
you.
He was my
He's
honorable
on
mention.
my honorable mentions.
I had him number 2 and then I kicked him for Kevin.
I mean,
It's acceptable.
Me.
Kevin's prettier.
That's true.
Just throwing that out there. You know what I love about the Chicago shows is that I haven't seen Who's the Head of like Med yet, but both Bowden and Voight have that gravelly, throaty voice. Like, to be in chief or in charge of the Chicago series, you have to have this deep, unusual sounding voice.
Well, it's Sharon on Med.
Sharon does not have that same voice. So
You can't see me pointing at my screen. The woman that's right next to my head.
Yeah.
She does too have an unusual voice.
She's still got that powerhouse like persona.
It's a
about
little
her, even if
gravelly
it's not.
voice, like Hank and Bowden's. Because I've seen her on this. So it is true that if you want to be the head of the Chicago series, you have to have this crazy voice. Okay.
Yeah.
So Eve, why is he your number 1?
I love how fiercely protective he is of the entire house. One episode that sticks out to me, it was a crossover with PD.
I think I know exactly which one you're talking about.
They needed Gabby and Sylvie's help to get into a house because it was a frequent flyer as far as the paramedics go. So they just needed to get in the house so that the PD people could sneak in.
So that Adam could sneak in.
Yeah, so Adam could sneak in. Let's be more specific about that.
As well.
And without even hearing an explanation, he just said no. They're like, but Bowden, and then Gabby's sitting there like, no, Chief, it's fine, we'll do it. No, absolutely not. No.
Because it puts his paramedics in danger.
Yeah, he was like, you will not put my paramedics in danger. And Sylvie and Gabby are sitting there like, Chief, it's fine, we'll do it. Like, we want to help. And he's like, absolutely not, no way.
I agree with that.
He is. I was really hoping, because I couldn't bump anybody else for him, but I was like, somebody's gonna have him on their list. So I'm not even like, it's okay. We're gonna talk about him plenty, I'm sure. Until he kept going, and I was like,
I did it for you, Amanda.
Thanks.
I love how unwavering he is about things. And the other thing is too, he really took Stella under his wings. Like Stella even had him walk her down the aisle.
He I feel like he treats all of them like his own little children.
I agree with that.
He's so fiercely protective over everybody. And even when he gets promoted, like he doesn't leave 51. Like he stays housed there because he's so connected to, all these people that is under him. He's not only just protective of his people, he's protective of everybody.
Mhm.
Like that's just like his personality. And I love Bowden so much. I really do.
And another thing too is that if there are, two people in the house who are, having a go at each other, if they're in an argument, Bowden has none of that. He's like, you need to figure this out, or he'll go to one of them and say, because I remember Casey and Herman had a thing for a little while, and then Bowden went to Herman and said, you need to do better. And I was like, that is such a dad thing to do.
I'm only halfway through season 1, but I see that. Go ahead, Shelby.
I like how too that he even though he's technically above everybody, he doesn't act like he's above everybody. And everybody, he's very protective of his peoples, but his peoples are very protective of him as well.
Yes.
Yeah. That's true.
Yep.
That's the sign of a good leader.
Yeah. And even when Peter Mills first came on as candidate, Bowden had to tell him why he made him wait. The way he gives him enough respect to speak truthfully to them, even if it hurts.
Yeah.
And I like that about his character. I like that he gave of himself in that moment, because talking about that couldn't have been easy for him. I mean, his friend died in that fire. He's got a scar on his back from that fire, but he told him that story in all honesty. And then I just passed the episode where the whole thing was severed and the stuff Shay was giving him the pain meds. He knew his worker so well that he could tell something was going off with Shay.
Yep.
That she was not being honest with him. And he asked her to hold back or to stay back, and she did. And he couldn't bring himself to confront her on it because he could see how much pain it caused her to even be thinking about it, that he didn't want to cause her more pain to have her say it.
Yeah.
But that was almost like him just saying, listen, I know something's not right, and I'm right here.
Yep.
And I love that he's that way with his people.
And he's such a good husband to Donna. We don't see Donna too much, but
Didn't even know he was married.
When I don't think he gets married till later.
Yeah, so he's not married at the start of Fire.
No.
He gets married pretty soon though, but it's Melissa Mccall.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I didn't even recognize her on Fire. It wasn't until I saw the actress's name in the credits. I was like, wait a second. I know that name. Who is she?
I knew her from Fire before I ever watched Teen Wolf.
They are just such an awesome couple.
They are.
And then they have their little son.
Oh, he's so freaking cute.
Oh, I can't wait to see Bowden as a real dad.
Yeah.
No, he's amazing, of course.
Well, then he also has his stepson from a previous marriage. And, obviously he was such a great father figure to him that later on he wants to move in with Bowden, even though technically there's no family relation anymore because he's not with his mother. But that's
that's like Belle and Jake. All right. Well, he's one of my honorable mentions, but so is Otis and Casey and Mouch.
See, Mouch was the one that I was like, really? No one has him on the list? He's one of my honorable mentions.
I really wanted to put him on the list, but I couldn't bump my PD.
I almost put him because I really like him too.
All right. So I don't think we should need to talk about really anybody else. But I think we should list whoever is left in our honorable mentions.
Those are my 4 honorable mentions. So Jeanette, who are your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions were some of them we've talked about. Brett, Aaron, because I loved Aaron. Haley, because I love Haley too.
I was so excited when I got to take her off my list.
Hank, Mouch, Crockett, and Natalie.
Shelby, who's on your list? On your honorable mentions?
Sharon, Connor, Vanessa, Aaron, and Ritter.
Are those all PD or all Fire people except for Aaron?
Those are Med and Fire.
And then Fire, and then Aaron is PD.
Yeah. Eve, who are yours?
Kevin, who we talked about, Mouch. I threw Cindy on there just because that woman is a freaking saint.
Yeah.
And Violet, Ritter, Gallo. I swear the 3 of them, that friendship is just, they have me laughing hysterically every time the 3 of them are in a scene together.
Oh yeah. I love that little trio.
And then also Hank, Maggie, and Brett.
Amanda, who are yours?
I'm just going to say the ones that we have not mentioned yet, because I have a lot. And those are going to be Ethan, Choi, which is Med.
Okay.
He was also on PD.
Not as easy as Choi though.
Not the same character, but actor, yes. Mouch, he's on my honorable mentions. Haley, I'm there with you, Jeanette.
I like her.
Yeah, Haley Upton, she's on my honorable mentions, and Sharon.
I just don't like that Haley thinks she's, when she has this superiority thing and she acts like she's better than everybody else. I don't like that.
I get that too.
But beyond that, I like her. I just have to say one thing. I just passed the episode where they had to do the pee test on fire, and the guy is sitting in Mouch's spot on the couch. And Mouch has no idea what to do with himself. But then he sits on the opposite side of the couch. The guy gets up and Mouch doesn't notice it for a minute. And then when he finally spots it, he's thinking about moving over. And the guy comes back and sits down, and Mouch gets so mad.
Yeah.
I can see why him and Trudy fit. I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love him. All right, so those are our top 10 lists. We talked for quite a while about them.
We did. This is why we couldn't have 10 from each show, guys.
Can you imagine how long that episode would have been?
We have to do like we would have had to do it each show.
We had to do 3 parts.
I would have been asleep.
Let us know if you agree, if you disagree with our list. What's your list? Do you have a top 10? And I have to say that the least favorite thing was intriguing to me. So I started compiling those in my head where you guys were talking about people I didn't know. So I have that list going too. So do you have a least favorite list? I mean, we don't want to crap on any of the actors, but I'm just curious. It's the characters, not the actor, that you don't like. And if you don't like the character, but you like the actor, that's a sign of good writing and good acting. So it's not offensive. So let us know what your lists are. And you can reach out to us on our email and our social media. And don't forget to check out our Facebook group for, is it One Chicago Family Fan Club?
It is.
Yep, on Facebook. Check that out. Let's get the conversation going. You can binge watch all of PD, Fire, and Med currently as of this date of recording, which is June 21st. You can binge all of them on Peacock. So go ahead and get caught up so that by the time September rolls around, you can jump right in and come along with our new podcast where we're going to be doing recaps of the Chicago shows. On that note, we're all done. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. For our listeners craving more, you can search for all 16 of our groups on Facebook by searching Family Fan Club. Come on over and join the conversation. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok under Fandom Family Chats. We try to always make sure to have something that will entertain. Of course, we'd also love your feedback, the good and any bad. And you can provide that by emailing us at familyfanclub2021@gmail.com. Keep an eye out for our website coming soon, where you'll be able to buy FFC merch and merch about some of your favorite TV shows with some favorite sayings and images. We're also working toward hosting a Comic-Con style event in 2024, where some of your favorite fandoms, cast, crew, and fans alike will come together for a fun-filled weekend. You can find those announcements on our website coming at you soon. Keep watching and listening, and as always, don't forget to share and subscribe.